Our first guest tonight, Sam Mangel, is a prison consultant whom Navaro brought on to help him prepare for what life is like on the inside. And Sam, it's great to have you here tonight. I know you've already spoken to Mr. Navaro since you dropped him off this morning. How did he sound?
Well, Kaitlan, you have to understand that when anyone goes to prison, it's a scary, nerve-wracking experience. Entering a world where you're not used to and that you have no control over, it is very scary. You're told what time to get up. You're told what time to eat. You're told where to sleep. No matter who you are, that is certainly a very disconcerting feeling. I'm sure that Peter's settled in. I've spoken to a number of clients that I have there, and from what I've been told, he's doing fine.
Did he seem nervous at all, given what you just laid out there?
Anybody reporting to prison is nervous. I think this morning he presented himself very well, very strong. But naturally, anyone going to federal prison is going to be nervous. You lose all control. I don't care who you are. I don't care what your profile is. When you're in there, you're a number. You're an 8-digit number. At 4 o'clock in the afternoon, you stand for count. At 10 o'clock at night, you stand for count. When you want to use a phone, you only have 510 minutes a month. When you want to use email, it's going to be subject to being monitored. So regardless of who he is, he has to follow the same rules as everyone there.
Yeah, I mean, it's a completely different life than what Peter Navaro has been, or anyone has been used to. And I mean, and he kind of seemed to think that maybe he would get this emergency request granted by the appeals court in Washington, that he maybe wouldn't have to go. Did he seem surprised that this moment was kind of actually happening?
Since I wasn't part of his legal team, it's kind of hard for me to comment on what he might have known or how he might have acted. I know that when I picked him up this morning, he was ready to go. I was with his attorney, and he was prepared to surrender. I'm sure that he was hoping for a different outcome, like anybody would have, as a way to avoid the inevitable. But he was certainly prepared and ready to surrender.
I should note that this, for people who don't know, this is the Federal Correctional Institution in Miami. It's a low-security prison. You also previously were incarcerated there. You know what it's like to be in Peter Navaro's shoes and what he's going through. Can you just kind of walk us through? I mean, once you get inside, what happens next? What is the process on your first day there?
First, let me differentiate exactly where he is. Well, yes, it is the FCI Miami. There's a satellite camp to Miami, and it's adjacent to the actual facility, the low-security facility. In a satellite camp, you're considered community custody. That means you're allowed out from 6 in the morning to roughly 9:30 at night. You're not in a cell. He's going to be in an open dorm with up to 80 other men. So there is substantially more liberty and freedom while at the camp. As long as you follow the rules and you work when you have to work, you take classes when you take classes, he will be fine and maintain that level of liberty.
Did he express interest in taking classes and doing that kind of work that's available there?
Absolutely. I think he's eager to get in. As an inmate at a camp, you're able to both teach classes to other inmates and, if required under the First Step Act, take classes. So I think somebody like him or any client that has a wealth of knowledge that they can impart on other inmates should take advantage of teaching inmates what they know, ultimately with the mindset of helping them when they get out.
I just mentioned that when you look at where this satellite campus is on a map, it's pretty close to the Miami Zoo. How close exactly is it? I mean, can you tell from being inside of there how close you are?
So when I was there, I was the first one up. I was up at 4 o'clock in the morning. They finished count at 5. At 5:30 in the morning, I was the first one up. And they have a pavilion outside where they have 3 spin bikes and a bank of televisions. I went outside in the morning to exercise. 5 o'clock in the morning or 5:30, you heard the lions. And every morning, you would hear the lions roar. So yes, you are adjacent to the zoo.
You can hear the lions roar?
You can absolutely hear the lions roar every morning.
I mean, that's kind of remarkable that's the location that someone who was a senior White House advisor is going to be in, what he'll be experiencing. I know it's also one of the oldest prison camps in the country. What are the facilities like? What does it look like on the inside of where he'll be?
So there are 4 separate dorms. The dorms typically hold about 80 men in bunk beds. So there's 40 beds on each side. They're open dorms. So there is no privacy within the institution or within the dorm itself. You could literally look from one bed on one end of the dorm all the way down to the other, a good 75 feet down. There is obviously privacy within the bathroom and the showers, but in this dorm setting, you lack privacy. And that is typical of many of the older federal prisons.
Can I ask you, Sam, as well? Because Peter Navaro, someone I knew when I was at the White House, covered when he was trade advisor, he's been very open about his struggle to pay his legal bills because they have been quite high as he's been fighting what essentially culminated today. For you specifically, does he have a backer who paid you? Did he pay you directly? How did that work?
I don't think it'd be appropriate to discuss how I was retained, but I was retained by Peter.
Okay. Sam Mangel, thank you for coming on to describe something that very few people could actually shed light on. We really appreciate your time.
Thank you, Kaitlan.